Hey folks, it's producer James here. I'm with Drew Dekes. We're on the eve of free agency in the NHL. Probably one of the weirdest and strangest off seasons in recent memory. Drew, how are we doing since we last mourned the loss of Shea Weber's career here on the channel?
Don't say that, James. Don't say that. I'm doing okay. I think it was nice, at least today anyway, to have something fresh to talk about. I love my signings and trades, and we start off with Joel Armia signing a 4-year extension with the Canadiens. I like that this happened the day before free agency opened up. It's just one good, solid guy locked up for the Habs who made a huge difference in that playoff run on that line with Corey Perry and Eric Stahl. So could be seeing, I think we expect a Corey Perry contract to be sent his way tomorrow, an offer. And I'm hoping around like the 1.2 million mark for Perry. I think he deserves a bit of a raise. But as far as that goes, we'll talk about Joel Armia. But before we do, for those that are new to Habs Tonight, guys, big announcement today. We've been looking forward to getting confirmation on this one for a while. Next week, we got none other than Brendan Gallagher joining Habs Tonight for an interview with Dale Weiss and one of our teammates here on the squad. And you don't want to miss it, guys. It's going to be an amazing interview with Gally. And I think the fans, we're all fans at the end of the day. But we're pretty pumped to get him on, and we're pretty fired up about it. So don't miss out, guys. Be sure to check out the channel, like and subscribe on the channel here, whether you're a Habs fan or not. The content that we release, because we're partnered, of course, with Dale Weiss, who any day now is headed off to Sweden to continue his playing career, and we're really excited for Dale for that as well.
Yeah, we certainly are. And having Brendan on the show is going to be incredible. He had to get a computer, I believe, was the issue that set us back a week. So these guys are really focused on hockey throughout the season. They're not, rigging up their IT or anything, in the middle of the playoffs. But certainly we'll talk about, his recent experience in the playoffs, just the highs and lows, maybe some of the hits and he both took and gave, and this is going to be one of the hopefully most honest conversations about what it means to be on a Stanley Cup playoff run, because it just happened. It's very fresh, and Brendan's not the kind of guy who's going to hold back. So this should be great. So tune into that. But here we are now. It's already been a very, I don't know how you want to describe the off season for the Montreal Canadiens. It's been very dramatic. We'll put it that way. I mean, from the expansion draft to not protecting Carey Price to Bergevin's comments about Shea Weber. To be clear, we haven't heard directly from Shea Weber about his own health, I don't believe. So, we have that whole aspect of uncertainty, but we know he's on long-term disability now. And that's freed up some space for
long-term injury reserve, but
LTIR, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, LTIR, but he's not. His cap hit isn't officially on there yet. I think he has to get evaluated at training camp before the Canadiens can officially take his cap hit off. So therefore, that's 7.7 or 7.8 or 7.7 million or so that's going to be potentially coming off the cap, which Bergevin does expect will, but we won't see that money come off officially until Weber's not cleared to return to the Canadiens in the fall.
Right. And then there's obviously the marquee free agents on the team, headlined by Phillip Danault, who's looking like he's probably on the way out. We'll know better tomorrow. I think that'll be a quick signing.
George Larocque kind of getting a scoop. A friend of the Habs Tonight show on our first episode, actually, George Larocque came on with Dale, but so do check that episode as well. He got the initial scoop here. What sounds like a pending deal with Phillip Danault with Vegas. We'll get confirmation of that tomorrow if it's true, because nobody can sign officially until noon tomorrow. But you do hear about the deals that are pending, because deals are happening right now as we speak. GMs are on their phones as we speak, working out deals, and some of them are officially unofficial, and Phillip Danault might be one of them to LA. And there's I saw just a minute ago about a rumor about what Buffalo's looking for Jack Eichel from Vegas. They want Riley Smith, and the tweet's not in front of me right now, but they want Riley Smith as one of the key pieces to that deal. And we'll talk in a minute also about, whether the Canadiens are still in on Eichel. I don't think they are, but we don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, the Canadiens Bergevin doesn't hold his cards out in front, right? We know that. If he's going to do a big deal, no one saw Shea Weber and PK Subban coming. Nobody saw that. So when it comes to a big name being dropped, you're not really going to hear about it till it happens. The Sebastian Aho offer sheet 2 years ago, stuff like that. Like, you just don't hear about it until it happens if it's a big deal. So, but we'll get back to now Joel Armia. That's what the thumbnail is about. This guy right here, actually, I got a calendar picture of our buddy Joel Armia, who, again, just fresh off a 4-year extension, guys, an average annual value of $3.4 million. He gets a nice little raise with the Canadiens, producer James. What do you make of this extension for the Canadiens on the heels of free agency?
Yeah, I had a few thoughts. I mean, to me, this is the kind of guy that really unlocks your bottom six of your forwards. He's going to be someone that we just saw can perform in the playoffs. Gelled really nicely on that Stahl line and Perry line. Had some big moments. Played the system that Ducharme was utilizing throughout the run, and I just think that for the philosophical leanings of this team, which is to be roll 4 lines, you're going to have to invest a bit of money in third and fourth line guys. And I know we hate using the term third and fourth liners on this program. Like, they're just hockey players. And in this particular case, the Canadiens espouse depth, right? And we're willing to maybe give up some of that depth at center because I don't believe we're going to come and meet in the middle with Danault is to be able to pay guys like this, bring back Perry, and then obviously maybe attract a few more veterans who are out there to basically complement the young players who are on, team-friendly contracts, and get them to a level sooner rather than later where they can contribute, the potential that they have to be scorers, to be playmakers, guys like Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, KK, etc. So to me, it's a smart signing. It's the kind of move you have to do to build a good bedrock of a team. And this is just where the team is. They want to roll 4 lines. So you got to pay guys like this a little bit. He's kind of like a Dale Weiss. So you got to, get a little bit of money to solidify that, that part of your lineup. And he's a hockey player first and foremost. And he's big. And that's part of what the team does is nice big back checkers as well. I feel fine with it. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just glad that they got it done now, and it's a 4-year term. It's a nice length. The cap hit's nice, and like you mentioned with Dale, even there too, just a guy that you put into the playoffs with the right line mates at the right time, and then boom, they're impact players, and all of a sudden they're getting raises, and they're staying with the team. Although we should have had Dale longer, we all know that. But that's the thing about Army. We all know what he's good at. We know he's a fantastic puck protector. Like, he's just he doesn't he's not flashy in a sense, but at the same time he has good mitts. Like, he's got good hands. We all know the skill that he has, but I just love how confident he is in the corners of the puck, and he just creates offense and just does a lot of things well that I don't think anybody. I mean, the Buffalo Sabres took this guy 15th or 16th overall in the first round in 2011. And
some pedigree for sure.
Yeah, also took Paul Byron, the Sabres did. Now look at these guys. They're on the Canadiens, making pretty decent money and able to be impact players. They're still here, So the cap hit for Armia is the same as Byron, 3.4. And actually, while we're mentioning a cap, why don't we just go ahead and pull up the current cap situation for the Montreal Canadiens and look at what we're heading into tomorrow amidst the free agency coming up here. So as you can see, James, we got $10.673-ish million left on the cap, or that's the projected cap space that the Canadiens are going to have. Now, this is not considering, of course, that we do need to re-sign Arturi Lehkonen. He needs a new deal. He's a restricted free agent. KK needs a new deal, so he's going to be on a bridge deal. Lecky will have a bit more, he'll be able to get a bit more money just because he's got arbitration rights, I believe, according to Cap Friendly here. But other than those two guys, I don't think anybody else is a sure thing, right? I mean, except for Corey Perry. So I think we're still going to be looking at around $7 million when it's all said and done, $6-7 million whenever we get, Lehkonen signed, KK, and then possibly Corey Perry. So it could be a little less than that, but I think as these guys sign, we'll still be sitting around that mark. But when it comes to what we still need, there's been word on Twitter this week. I think Chris Johnston actually had this story that Chris Weidman is looking to come back to the NHL from the KHL. And Chris Weidman was a former Ottawa Senator, Edmonton Oiler, Florida Panther, and a guy that is he's only 5'10", right shot defenseman. but looking to come back to the NHL, and he's looking to come back on what sounds like a team-friendly deal for the Canadiens, a 1-year deal. He turned down a $2 million return to the KHL. So we're looking at possibly a guy like him coming in. This screen doesn't really make sense why I'm talking about him. I probably should have had Weidman up here. But just looking again at the cap, I just mentioned the guys that we still need to sign. And then, of course, there's going to be free agents that we're looking to target. Now, I don't know exactly, other than the ones I just mentioned. Those are some key pieces that we're going to need to re-sign, and then Weidman possibly coming in. Dougie Hamilton's still out there on the market. Now, here's the other thing to consider, Jameser, is that if Weber's $7.8 or so million comes off the cap, then you're allowed to spend up to, what is it, 10 million over the cap before the regular season starts, I believe, somewhere in there. I'm not a stats guy, but the point being, if we overspend now, it's okay as long as we're cap compliant before the season starts. So that's where you got to think about, okay, how sure are we that the Shea Weber money's coming off the cap? Because if it is, we got to spend it quick and give ourselves a chance if we want to, look at spending some money on free agents day and really solidifying our offense. We're short on offense, man.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So, I mean, you want to sit there and go, how do we replace Shea Weber? But I mean, the biggest reason we didn't win the cup is because we couldn't score enough goals, right? And
Thomas Tatar at the door.
So. Yeah, I mean, Tatar for sure. But I mean, yeah.
Unless they circle back to these guys, but I just don't.
I don't think you can bring Tatar back. I think that the trust has been broken or something. I just don't know how you would want to come.
He's a regular season guy, though. I mean, we have an 82 game schedule. Ahead of us.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, there's definitely some work to be done there.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
No, look, I mean, yeah, and again, you got to go back to the youth movement and go, how much are these guys going to grow into goal scorers? A whole season with Cole Caulfield. Not saying he's going to put up 40 goals or anything, but
he'll put up 20. He'll put up 20.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Like there's more production on that end. Paling coming into the mix, perhaps, there's just some patience here, because this is, like we said, we're bridging. You talk about bridging the gap. There's a youth movement into to now being the mainline guys. This might be the year where people will have to not suffer, but realize, like, to be what we were this past season is not a realistic expectation. There's going to be more contribution expected from the youth, from Romanov and guys like that are going to play regular season minutes, and the vets will be there. But to pull off some move, and don't put it past Berg, but to pull something off for Eichel, it's going to take a piece out of our, or two or three out of our cupboard that people might not really accept. So it's tough. The team doesn't have the money, and there's not really a free agent out there anyways that's going to fix everything. There's no magic bullet. So we're just going to have to go through this and figure out, how to cultivate talent, support them with good veterans. We got goaltending sorted, right?
Yes.
So going forward
is a sure thing. I think it's the surest thing we have.
Oh, it's absolutely. It's so important.
With Carey staying healthy, of course. But we have Jake Allen in the meantime also for the next 2 years. At a very cap friendly deal of 2.35 or so.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Okay. So look, we were going to make this a quicker show, but we kind of have a take on Joel Armia. I always want to call him Joel. And I think we can agree consensus. We're happy. It's good. It
is a good
Weidman. Deal. Yeah. We're going to put little pieces together. You feel convinced that Danault is probably gone. Landeskog's probably the biggest cog in the whole free agent space at this point, I would say, other than him.
Yeah, he's got a deal on the table right now, 7x7 with the Colorado Avalanche. Now, it hasn't been accepted yet, but I'd be shocked if he doesn't go back to the Colorado Avalanche. And some chips are going to fall tomorrow. I mean, like, what's going to happen with Dougie Hamilton? There's some guys out there. I mean, the whole Eichel. I won't be surprised if Eichel doesn't get dealt tomorrow. I don't think tomorrow's the day for him to be dealt. It's free agent. It's the free agent frenzy, so he's not a free agent. I think Kevin Adams, the GM of the Sabres, is going to wait for the perfect deal to say, okay, we have peace about it now. Now it's time to move on from Jack Eichel. And it's not an easy departure. Like, this is a franchise player who gave the Sabres hope for the first time in a very long time, being drafted with Connor McDavid, two perennial superstars. And, you can McDavid. He's in his own league of his own. But that's what stinks, I think, about not feeling like the Canadiens can really make a serious move for a guy like this, because how long has the Montreal Canadiens talked about number one centers just don't grow on trees? They're like, Marc Bergevin said it so many times, and you now have an opportunity to make a serious play for this guy. And now we're rebuilding for the future. And we all love Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, KK. It seems like KK has really been the only one that we're willing to most definitely part with. And that kind of, what does that tell you, right? I mean, like, if we're not willing to part with something, I guess, stronger like Nick Suzuki or Caulfield, which I'm not suggesting for sure that we should. Although this week I had a back and forth with Brandon about it, just the possibility of at least considering having Nick Suzuki on the table or anything. But now at this point, given the kind of player that we know Nick Suzuki's becoming, and he already is, you talk about attitude, right? I mean, people have attitude questions with Jack Eichel, right? So it's not so much his ability, but it's not even that. It's the injury situation too. Like he might have to have a neck fusion operation done. That's serious. Like if he gets that operation done, like he's not going to be mobile in a certain part of his neck, right? Something like that. I'm not an expert on that subject, but the long and the short of it is, the perfect deal is going to have to be in place for Jack Eichel to be out of the Sabres organization. And I just wish that at an opportune time like this, where if Weber's $7.8 million comes off the cap, we still have $13 million after filling the holes that we need to fill with Weber gone. Yet we still, we can't sacrifice too much of the future. So I hope that we have a way to get some more offense up front. I just don't know who Brendan Gallagher's line mates are going to be next year. Josh Anderson's line, you know what I mean? Like we don't know who our number one center. I mean, I think Nick Suzuki is going to be our number one center. Yeah. You figure Suzuki, KK, Evans, Paling, like that's kind of the way you're shaping things out. I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Stahl returns just for depth on a $700,000 contract. Say what you want about him. He performed in the playoffs, but you're going to need depth when Ryan Paling is coming in and becoming a full-time regular in the NHL, assuming he will. So there's just a lot to be considered, man. I feel like there's a lot up in the air, and I have no idea, because we're not usually exciting on free agent frenzy day. The most exciting thing we did was about a 10-second offer sheet. We were excited for 10 seconds about the possibility of getting Sebastian Aho, which was squashed very quickly the next day by the Carolina Hurricanes. So I don't know. I just wish there was one free agent frenzy day where I could say, man, that was exciting. That was fun.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't know if that's what they've built the team towards this year, but
every year it's
been okay. But
it's a smarter way to build, though. Probably.
Let's leave it at this. It has been an extremely disruptive, odd, and crazy offseason already. Okay, we're not even talking about the draft. We'll have a separate time.
Yeah, we will address the Logan Mailloux situation.
We're not even talking about that. Hit us in the comments below about what you think could happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
free agency, but we're not talking about the draft. So
we all know what happens. So
yeah, exactly. So we'll, unless you have any final thoughts, I think we'll leave it at that. But to me, it's there's a lot of wild cards, but don't be surprised if things are a couple of smaller deals, minor signings, if you want to put them that way. And then, things can happen outside of this, right? Window. As you just said, there's implications with Weber.
Big time. They really are.
All this in the NBA a lot of the time is some of the best trades, and we saw it this year happen mid-season. So, just be patient.
Just before.
Don't freak out if we don't get it, a superstar tomorrow through some weird sign trade, whatever. I think the foundation is there. And that's what, again, just to bring it back to you all, Armia, that's what today was accomplished. It's another foundational guy for the next few years.
Yeah.
Things can happen after that.
Yeah, we're all excited to have Armia back. I mean, with KK, Lecky, the Finnish connection here. I think Bergevin he's a trade guy. So I think that, expecting a big free agent signing is something we've kind of gotten used to not expecting. So I think that free agent frenzy day is just a fun day for the league and for the fans. At least it can be. But, who knows? I mean, we don't know what's up his sleeve. And I'm just hoping that we have some deals to talk about tomorrow. I mean, today we jumped on because, we re-signed an important piece to the Montreal Canadiens going forward, and I'm very happy actually that he's back. Just the confidence that he has to Armia hopefully has to gain from this past playoff run, and how important the Canadiens value him. So I'm excited about him coming back. I'm expecting a great season out of him also, and if anything, I just hope that we have some more deals to talk about tomorrow. Whether it's, I don't know that we're going to see I think we see the re-signings after Free Agent Friendly Day. Tomorrow's the day where you try to make a bit of a splash and grab the new guys off the market who are going to be hot off the market at 12 o'clock. So I think we'll see those deals fall into place later throughout the week with KK, Lecky, etc. But I hope that we get something to talk about tomorrow. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, it wouldn't be surprised for Chris Weidman to come back to the NHL. And certainly it wouldn't hurt to have another piece to help the gap that Shea Weber's going to leave for this team going into the season.
Absolutely. Well, until then, make your predictions below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you let us know how you're doing. And, we'll be back. We'll be back as soon as the moves start happening to break it all down, to discuss, and then obviously share our feedback on what we see.
And once again, we'll remind you, because we did remind you off the top, but next week, guys, Brendan Gallagher joining the Habs Tonight show with Dale Weiss, and it might be, well, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but one of our co-hosts will be interviewing Gally.
It'll be a capable person, believe me.
Which we all are. And we love jumping on and giving this content out to our, not just our fans, but the fans of the Montreal Canadiens and anybody that's a fan of hockey, period. You don't have to be a Montreal fan to enjoy the interviews with these players. They give us the goods, man. You don't hear this stuff anywhere else. And Gally's a talker. So it's going to be a really, really good episode. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there, James. It sounds like, we're looking forward to another Free Agent Frenzy Day of hopefully some action to talk about. We'll be jumping on tomorrow throughout the day when deals happen, as they do. And at nighttime, I think Shannon and Nick are going to do a recap as well.
Awesome. Until then, have a good night. Enjoy free agency.